The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is an open-world movie-licensed superhero action-adventure game developed by Beenox and published by Activision. I love the Spider-Man games, I really do. There have been some incredibly great ones. I remember playing the first Spider-Man game on my computer when I was very little. It was pretty good. I don't know if it holds up well, I really don't, but Spider-Man 2 was amazing for the PlayStation 2. Not so great for PC, but there have been other great Spider-Man games, Spider-Man Friends or Foes, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and this is the latest game in the Spider-Man video game franchise, and it's based on the latest movie, Amazing Spider-Man 2 of 2014. And I have to say, this is not a bad game per se, but it's one of those games that gets really boring and repetitive the more you play it, and that's unfortunate because story-wise, I didn't really care about it, but it wasn't done all that badly. It follows the events of the movie relatively loosely because it follows Peter Parker trying to find the murderer of Uncle Ben, and there are other characters that were not in the movie, like Kraven, who was great, and Shocker and Black Cat, and then other characters that were in the movie like Electro and Green Goblin, and you do get to fight them in some really boring and repetitive boss fights with the same exact pattern for every single boss. I didn't like them. The boss fights were really disappointing and they weren't even good set pieces. I was like, yeah, let's get this over it, But the real game, for me at least, was in the open world, because just like in the previous Amazing Spider-Man game, you have the huge city of New York that is pretty lifeless, unfortunately. In the street there are pedestrians and they just talk on the phone, or they walk around the streets, there are cars, and that's it. There isn't really anything else to the actual open world, in the living world. But there are plenty of things to do, and that I do enjoy. I actually spent more time just hanging around the city, swinging with the now really damn good controls, even though there are some weird camera angles sometimes when you get close to a wall, but most of the time swinging through the city, going left and right with the webs attaching to the buildings. It was very damn satisfying, exploring the entire city, never going to the ground. It's very fun to navigate the city, and there are a ton of side activities. You can beat up thugs, you can complete stealth sections in police raids, you can save people from buildings in fire, there are car chases, there are races, there are a ton of activities to do. But there is one little annoyance that I really disliked. Every single time you finish an activity, there is a very short cutscene that you can skip after 5 seconds, but it's always the same cutscene. Spider-Man has saved the city, Spider-Man has done a lot of good. You're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But after the 30th time you've seen that, it gets annoying. Even though you can skip it after a while, you can't right away. I wanted to disable that, and there is no way on the internet. And then you have the hero meter. Every single time you do one of those actions, your hero meter goes up, and everyone loves you. But if it goes down, you become menace. And if you don't do these things, you become a better menace, until there are policemen, SWATsmen, whatever these weird flying thingies that are starting to chase you and trying to kill you, to put you down because you're a menace, you're a vigilante. And I was like, okay, that's fun. It's actually pretty fun to have someone that battles you every time, but after a while there are so many of those activities that you will miss them, that it becomes annoying. And if you want to do some story missions and you're trying to get through the city, you will start seeing these little red blips until you become a menace level 3 right away, and everyone is on your ass, they're trying to kill you, and you're just like, I want to do the main mission, come on, don't do this to me, I'm just going, no, I have to do this, okay, and then you start grinding them, and it's not fun anymore. You are forced to do these things if you want to peacefully traverse the city, because otherwise there are gonna be nets that will block your way, there are gonna be enemies fighting you, and that's boring. And honestly, the combat is the combat is your usual Batman Arkham type combat, and it's fine, it works pretty well. There are no gadgets like in the Arkham game, of course, but Spider-Man moves pretty well, and it was fun, and the stealth sections are satisfying. the gameplay itself is not bad. It's some of the things in the open world that are really out of place, and they take out some of the fun of the game. Also, graphically, it's pretty ugly, and I don't normally say that because I started playing the game on low because it has severe performance issues, and then I said, okay, now before starting to record against review, I wanted to play the game on ultra. Even though it was 15 FPS, I was like, let's do this. Let's try and see how good the game can look. It looks almost the same. The textures are ugly, they're very blurry. Some of the post-processing effects, they look pretty bad. And the shadows, they tend to glitch sometimes. And I was like, okay, this is a 2014 game. Why does it look like that? I mean, Beenox doesn't want to do other Spider-Man games. I hope so, because they've made a ton of them, too many of them in my opinion, and I really hope that they stop making them, because you can see that they're getting tired. But still, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a great game if you can buy it on sale, because otherwise, buying it for even $20 is not worth it. If you can get it for $5 or $10, I think it's a worthwhile purchase. It's fun. For the time that you can spend with the game, it's fun, especially the open world. But I won't play it again anytime soon. But still, guys, have you played The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Do you like the Spider-Man games? Which is your favorite superhero franchise or for video games that is not the Batman Arkham games? That's interesting. But still, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.